Good evening, this is Occupier Kaylin coming to you live from the Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement headquarters. We have two guests from the Chicago Fight for 15 movement who will be speaking and presenting videos and pictures to hopefully help build the movement here in order to get the minimum wage jacked to a livable wage, not a slave wage. So we're just waiting for this to get started. This says Lucha por is the same as Fight for 15. There may be some Spanish, or maybe not, I don't know. Sorry about that, I was just finishing off a glass of water. Again, this is Occupier Kaylin coming to you live from the Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement headquarters. We are about to hear from two Chicago speakers. They are leaders in the Fight for 15 movement to get the minimum wage jacked up to a living wage instead of a slave wage. And they'll show pictures and video of their activities up there. And so we're just waiting for this thing to get started, so it should be good.
Just wanted to say hello. How are you?
Pretty good.
Here you are again.
Yeah.
What's new? Anything?
Oh, my oldest sister's dog died.
Oh.
So that's a bummer for everybody. But she was an old girl.
Get a rescue. Tell them there are many rescues that are waiting for homes. It's too soon probably for them.
Yeah.
Oh. It's like
you're not giving up any of yours.
I got another one. I heard this kid screaming in a backyard about 6 months ago. Just having a fit back there, so I waited for a while. And I knew the guys next door were gone, so I heard it again a little while later, so I went back there. This beautiful little gray kid came running up to me, just very anxious. I'm sure he was hungry. So I took him home, and then I went around the neighborhood to see who he belonged to. Of course, he didn't belong to anybody. So I've got another baby. I tell you, it's crazy. Well, just reminding, there's a lot of homeless babies waiting for homes. Good to see you.
That's me. I don't like to, I like to walk, but let's see what the
More people are coming in as we wait for the guest speakers to get started. While we wait, every Friday during the summer, there are these events called Fast Food Friday, and basically what they were is they target a specific fast food restaurant to raise awareness of the fact that the workers are underpaid, no benefits, probably underscheduled, so that the management can avoid paying benefits or paying overtime, and that they are not paying a living wage, and that the workers have to rely on other jobs or public assistance. They can't even afford the food at the restaurants they're working in. But I have not been able to stream those because I go to the mosque on Fridays, so I miss those. But have a diverse crowd in here, so this should get started in a few minutes.
Oh, here comes some cuteness.
Let's see, it's just kind of like chasing your tail. Well, it just seems like, we did go for a wedding in St. Paul this weekend. That was fun, but, I've been doing most of the fast food Fridays. Trying to keep the weeds down. I made a pipeline. Did you see our pictures of the rally at the IUB? She's from pipeline rally. This was about a big 8-foot long, 30-inch pipeline.
Nope, I had to miss that one. It was during Ramadan that I missed all that fun.
I was down with my brother in the Ozarks for a couple days, and luckily, their dog got flooded, and the water came up to just then we have so I can take out one.
I know it's not 15, but we're just doing
But it was like it was like especially at night. Was it
There's just lots of chatter going on while we wait for this thing to get started.
Well, it's that kind of stuff that they stuff that
All right!
Welcome to everybody. I'm Brenda Brink. I'm a proud CCI member. All right. It's so great to see a full house. And what I would like to start off doing tonight, we have many distinguished guests here for the Fight for 15. But we're going to start off by just asking people, call on somebody, I'm an old teacher, why did you come tonight? Patty, you're laughing. Why did you come tonight?
Because things gotta change. People have to have a living wage.
Okay, y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. Why were you here? You were like the first person here, it seems like.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who live in poverty. My daughter working at McDonald's, she has 2 kids, and I don't see her making it on that kind of wage.
Yeah.
No.
There's no way. Let's see. Sandy, why are you here tonight?
It's the wage thing. I know a lot of people that are working 2 jobs, both the husband and the wife, or if it's a single family, people working 2 jobs to make ends meet, and what's happening to their children.
That's right.
If there aren't grandparents in the picture, or neighbors, or relatives, what's happening to our children?
Gentleman in the back, why are you here tonight?
Learn about movement.
Yeah, that's right, the movement, because it's a movement. We have a lot of people here who have been in the trenches, our distinguished guests. What do you think we've been doing in Iowa? Has anybody heard about Fast Food Friday for one? Yeah. How many of you have participated in Fast Food Friday? Yes, indeed. So we, meaning Bridget and the other folks here at CCI, Maddie, Emily, started Fast Food Friday actions in April 15th, as a matter of fact. And what we are doing is the second and fourth Friday. You can expect to find a bunch of people lined up on the sidewalk, maybe inside the McDonald's or whatever fast food place they choose. And we are holding court for about an hour. We are holding signs that say, people need to have a living wage. We are dressed up as clowns because there are clowns who are franchise owners in Des Moines. And we have people dressed up as French fries, more on that later. And we are holding a lot of signs that say honk for 15. Because $15 an hour is a pretty good starting idea. People think $8 an hour might be a good starting idea, but that keeps you in poverty. Yeah. So you would not believe how many people are honking. It is very affirming. There is a lot of interest out there. A lot of interest. Well, even beyond that, even before that, we had been going up to the Capitol. We had been lobbying. There's people who are being paid on debit cards with lots of fees associated with. So we were going up to the Capitol lobbying to get rid of that and to protect workers. We were lobbying to keep people from having their wages stolen. We were lobbying to raise the minimum wage. Did that get done in Iowa?
No.
No, it hasn't yet. It hasn't yet. That's what we're seeing. So this has shown us that Iowans, the honks, and the overwhelming response to Fast Food Friday when we're out there, the overwhelming response here says Iowans don't think people who work should be kept in poverty.
No.
So we are going to tonight hear more about that. Alma Perez, there she is, will be our next person who's going to talk about her experience and tell us more about what she's been up against.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good evening, everyone.
Esta es la primera vez que yo hablo en público, estoy un poquito nerviosa.
This is the first time I've spoken in public in front of a crowd, and I'm a little nervous.
Pero a la vez estoy contenta porque este día yo voy a contarles parte de lo que yo he vivido en mi trabajo por casi 11 años.
But I'm also happy because today I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my life and my experience in my job for almost 11 years.
Trabajé para McDonald's y mi experiencia fue un poquito difícil, creo que como muchos.
So I worked for McDonald's and my experience was difficult, like many people who work for McDonald's.
Empecé ganando a $6.50 la hora.
Okay, so I started making about $6.50 an hour.
Y desde entonces tuve dos jefes que fueron muy buenos conmigo y me daban 25 centavos cada 6 meses.
So then I had a string of a few good managers that then gave me a raise of about 25 cents every few months.
Después cuando esos jefes fueron, los reemplazaron, los despidieron a ellos y llegaron otros dueños a la tienda, no nos quisieron hacer más aumentos. Pasamos 3 años sin un aumento, ni nada.
So then when those managers left, we went 3 years without any sort of raise.
Entonces fue bien difícil para todos porque nos exigían más trabajo y cuando pedíamos el aumento decían en agosto va a ser, o en diciembre va a ser, o nos ponían fecha, pero nunca llegaba esa fecha.
And it was even worse because they wanted us to work harder and faster. And when we would ask for raises, they would say, oh, in December, oh, in January. They kept putting it off and not giving us a date.
A veces tenía que trabajar hasta por 5 posiciones, por 5 personas tenía que trabajar yo.
Sometimes I had to fill the shoes of 5 people in the store, working the job of 5 people, but just myself.
Escuchaba a varios de mis jefes que decían, buen trabajo, Alma, buen trabajo, Alma.
And they would compliment me and say, good work, Alma, good job, Alma.
Pero cuando yo venía de ellos y les decía, si yo hago tan bueno mi trabajo, ¿por qué no hay aumento?
But then I would go to them and say, if I'm so good at my job, but why haven't I gotten a raise?
Entonces decían ellos, oh, tienes que seguir con otra clase, tienes que hacer, y ponían muchas excusas y seguí estudiando para ser manager y nunca llegó un aumento.
And so they would always give me lots of excuses, and even as I was training to become a manager, they still weren't raising my wage and giving me still lots of excuses.
So, después de todo eso, vine aquí a CCI, me dijeron que aquí me podían ayudar y sí, me hice miembro de aquí de CCI y una de las personas que estaba encargada en ese momento me ayudó a que fuéramos a hablar con mis jefes.
So after, as this was happening, I came to CCI to see if they could help me, and they said, yeah, you know, become a member of CCI and we'll talk you through how to make this happen.
Entonces esa persona fue conmigo a hablar con mi jefe y le dijo que yo me merecía un aumento porque tenía 10 años de trabajar y no había habido aumento por más de 3 años.
And so this organizer is actually Vanessa Marcano Kelly back there. She, Vanessa went with me to talk to my boss to ask for a raise, that I was a manager now and that I needed a raise.
Me dieron 75 centavos, pero después de eso ya no hubo más nada como manager. Eso fue mi único aumento de trabajadora hacia manager.
And so they gave me a raise of 75 cents, but that was the only raise I got from going from a crew member to becoming a manager after 3 years. 3 years? 4 years? Yes, after 3 years.
Entonces veía a todos los empleados allí, todos ganando por 12 años, ganando a $8.25 la hora.
There were people in my store who worked for McDonald's for 12 years and still only made $8.25 an hour.
Entonces empecé a luchar a hablar con mis jefes y decirles por qué ellos no les dan más. Entonces ellos se enojaron conmigo y dijeron, no, Alma es un problema. Entonces se enojaron conmigo los jefes y ellos decían que yo era un problema porque yo motivaba a la gente a que pidiera aumentos.
And so I started pressuring my bosses and asking them why we were paid so poorly. And that's when they started to think Alma's a problem. She's causing us problems.
Right.
Pero, y por eso va a ser mi lucha, porque, y estoy aquí también para contar esta historia, la estoy contando lo más importante, pero fue un proceso largo.
And so this is why I'm fighting. I told you a very short version of my story, but it was a very long process, and it's a long fight.
Entonces estoy luchando por los $15 porque nos lo merecemos. Todos los que vamos a trabajar tenemos a veces 2, 4 hijos, necesitamos más dinero, $10, no podemos ganar a $10, no nos alcanza el dinero para poder darles a nuestros hijos.
So I'm fighting for $15 because we deserve it. A lot of the people I work with, people I work with have 2, 4 kids. They're trying to support their families, and they just can't do it on the salary that McDonald's is giving them, on the wage that McDonald's is giving them.
Y aquí ha sido mi soporte. Todas las personas de CCI me han, ahora me quedé sin trabajo. Tengo 2 meses, cumplí ayer de que no tengo trabajo porque me accidenté en el McDonald's y desde entonces Alma ya no servía para nada.
So I was injured on the job, and so that was when they decided I wasn't worth keeping anymore. And so it's been 2 months now since I'm no longer working at McDonald's.
Entonces quiero luchar porque todos los miembros de CCI me han ayudado muchísimo, han sido mi soporte y he pasado muchas tristezas, pero ellos me han dado muchas ganas de seguir adelante y de seguir luchando por los $15 y vamos a luchar y espero que entre todos lo logremos.
And so I'm fighting for $15 because all of the CCI members have supported me and helped me through this fight, and there have been a lot of sad parts, but we need to fight for $15 an hour, and we're going to win. Yeah.
Bien dicho.
Yeah, okay, one more thing. If
You
you
know.
haven't signed, has anybody not signed in?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, we'll pass it around one more time. And so I'm also going to introduce our two speakers tonight because I know there's been a lot of buzz about them. We've been telling you all about them on social media and via email. So we have Caleb Jennings here. You're the citywide organizer for the Fight for 15 in Chicago through SEIU. And then we also have Doug Hunter, who is a fast food worker as well as a leader in the movement, in the Fight for 15 movement in Chicago. And so they're going to...
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you all out. Wish we could be out for a more festive occasion, but we're here.
Yes, we are.
My name is Doug Hunter. Again, I'm a member of the National Organizing Committee and the Fight for 15. I want to start out by showing a brief video. One of our sisters, another worker at McDonald's, confronted one of the CEOs at a corporate, I think it was a restaurant. She had seen to me. And I wanted to share this video with you.
Bear with me with the technology.
Excuse me, the interruptions. It's really hard for me to feed my two kids and struggle day to day. Do you think this is fair that I have to be making $8.25 when I've worked for McDonald's for 10 years? The thing is that I need a raise, but you're not helping your employees. How is this possible?
You're going to be arrested.
You're asking and you're out here putting your face and said, I've done all this, but to your employees, you haven't done anything. Because we're still living on poverty wage. And you know what? It's just not fair.
Just to give a little background on that, that was at this fancy luncheon that the CEO was having.
Oh, like that.
And Nancy Salgado, she's been there 12 years at McDonald's 12 years ago. And she's one of the leaders as well, just like Doug, that stood up in there as well.
So how much does that president make?
He makes millions. I don't know off the top of my head.
$8.50 an hour.
Probably $8.50 a nanosecond.
I do know the former CEO made $5,000 an hour. That was Don Thompson, who's the CEO. We just got rid of him, you know, and he was making over $5,000 an hour.
Really?
Over $5,000 an hour when the workers who are in these restaurants doing the work are making less than $8. You know, some states they're making $7 an hour, $7.25 an hour. That's ridiculous. And so we want to move now to our slides. That the U.S. was land divided like the U.S. wealth. 100% would own that much land.
1%, right?
1% would own that much land. 9% would own the rest of this land, and the remaining 90%. And this is where all your fast food workers at, would all be right down here in this land. You know, these are poverty wages, and this has to end. This has to stop. Now, just 70%. Okay, in 1973, 23% of private sector workers were in unions. Now, that has dropped. To 2012, last total was 7% of private sector workers were unionized. This is a direct assault on unions. When we started our campaign in New York, we were asking for two things: $15 and the right to form a union without retaliation from our employers.
Right.
You know, and that remains our battle cry right now.
Right.
We do believe that we need a union. Fast food jobs in the economy, these fast food organizations make $200 billion a year. That's $200 billion a year. And how are they paying us what they're paying us? You know, how are they making this $200 billion? The world's second largest private employer, McDonald's. Can we guess who's the first? Who's the first? Walmart. Got it. Employers. Fast food jobs. Employs 3.4 million workers in the U.S. And these jobs are not just kids anymore. These are grown-ups. I'm 53 years old. These are grown-ups trying to support families, trying to raise kids. We're not just in this thing to buy gym shoes anymore. We're in here trying to raise our families. These are poverty wages. The median pay for a fast food worker in this country is $8.17 an hour. That's ridiculous.
You're right. It is ridiculous.
Some of the other issues, we deal with wage theft, public costs, burns, and lack of safety in these restaurants. Getting burned and hurt all over the place. The goals of the fast food worker movement. 1, $15